The fourth generation of the Honda Pilot is finally here, and Honda is calling it the king of the carpool lane. Now they're calling it that because of its spacious interior and flexible seating. And today we are going to dive into my first impressions on this car. Quick note, didn't get invited to the event. So weird how that happens. I guess like my invite got lost in the mail, who knows? But I have spent the last week scouring the internet, watching the videos, trying to put myself in a Honda Pilot so I could give the best virtual tour possible, and I'm ready to do that. If this is your first time joining me, I'm Kelly and I'm the Car Mom. I review cars for moms and for families. I'm a mom of 2, almost 3, and I'm a certified child passenger safety technician. So let's dive into my first thoughts on the Honda Pilot to see if it is a family-friendly SUV. Okay, so let's start by talking about the exterior. So if you look at all the generations of a Honda Pilot, literally the only thing they have in common is the name. The second generation to the third generation could not look less alike. In the third generation, meaning like this outgoing previous model from about like 16 to I guess 22, I thought was so ugly. It literally just looks like kind of like a minivan. Like I just didn't like anything about it. It was overstyled. I didn't like the body lines, and it kind of took away like that sporty, boxy look that we liked in the second generation. So I'm happy to see that with this fourth generation Pilot, they are bringing back some of those boxy, sporty elements. And they're doing it not only in the exterior, but also in the styling. They're actually trying to make some off-roading versions of the Pilot. You see a lot of the press videos that are coming in are all about this Trail Sport edition that can like climb over rocks and stuff. Again, not sure why every manufacturer always feels the need to show me a vehicle going over rocks while also being called the king of the carpool lane. But the point is the Honda Pilot can apparently do both. Basically, I think if you look at the exterior, it's kind of giving like Explorer meets Telluride meets Atlas. Basically, she's just like on trend with the rest of her friends. Okay, so as far as under the hood is concerned, it is still a V6, but apparently it's the most powerful ever. It is now a 3.5 liter V6 producing 285 horsepower. Now for reference, the previous generation V6 produced 280. So you're gonna get about 5 more horsepower in this new model. We don't have any MPG stats available yet, but some experts are saying that it should get slightly better fuel economy. And unfortunately, there's no talk of any sort of electrification on this generation, whether that be full EV or hybrid. Okay, now let's talk about the interior because this is some really interesting stuff. So Honda has redesigned the entire interior and they're calling it class-leading overall passenger space. This is a bold claim because the midsize category is extremely competitive when it comes to passenger space. Now, the Pilot was probably like in the middle when it comes to passenger space, so saying it's class leading, as in like one of the largest of the midsize SUVs, is technically a huge improvement from the outgoing generation. Now, I can confirm based on the stats that the previous Pilot is smaller than this one. So it's already gonna be bigger than the previous Pilot, which is definitely exciting. However, to call it class leading, I'm unsure. I'm gonna read a few stats. Okay, so the 2023 Pilot has the most cargo room in the model's history with up to 113 cubic feet behind the first row. So, cubic feet gets a little confusing and it's like not really my favorite way to measure a vehicle's spacing because like a cubic foot could be in the air. So basically a cubic foot, like how they would measure it, is if they filled the car with water, like and the water went into every crack and every crevice and every cup holder and every storage thing all the way up to the ceiling. That's how we calculate cubic feet. When you're coming to think, but when you start to think about how that would fit your family, like you're not installing a car seat like, and who has like the most room right above the head or like who has an extra 6 inches by this door panel. There's a lot more that goes into it. So I don't necessarily think it's fair to say that it's going to be the largest for families in terms of functionality. It just means technically it has the most cubic feet. So if you're just, so that's behind the first row. Now the trunk space is up to 22.4 cubic feet behind the third row. So that means with the third row up, you're looking at 22 cubic feet. The Traverse is 23 cubic feet. So the Traverse technically still has a bigger trunk, but that is quite an improvement from the outgoing previous Honda Pilot. The previous Honda Pilot had a trunk space of 16.6 cubic feet, and now we're up to 22.42. So quite an improvement there. So with the claim of the Pilot having 113 cubic feet, that technically makes it have more cubic feet than the Atlas and the Traverse, which were historically the larger of the midsize SUVs. However, where it gets interesting is if you look at the vehicle's length, the Traverse is 205 inches and the Pilot is 199 inches. So I'm not gonna like get my measuring tape out and like say who's lying and say who's not, but I don't actually think that this Pilot is going to be more spacious than the Traverse or the Atlas. I think it's going to be bigger. I think it may have technically more cubic feet, but from a functionality standpoint, I don't think it's going to be bigger than the Traverse and the Atlas in like usable space. So not saying that's not a good improvement. I mean, it's much bigger than the last one. Not saying that like the average person would even notice, but I just wanted to call out like them calling it class leading, I think is a little misleading. I also don't think it's necessarily the case. Now, one of the most exciting things about the Honda Pilot is that they are advertising a removable middle seat. Now, I was kind of expecting this based on the Acura MDX. The Acura MDX, when it got redesigned, also included a removable middle seat. I'm obsessed with this feature. And on the Honda Pilot, they take it a step further and they even give you a place to put it in the trunk as storage. Love it. I think it's genius. I'm excited about it. But however, it is important to note that that removable middle seat is only available on the top 2 trims. So the Trail Sport, which is like their sporty version, is only available in captain's chairs, and the EXL is available with both captain's and a bench, but the middle seat is not removable in the EXL. I don't have a shot of what just the bench seat looks like without the removable middle seat, unfortunately, at this time. That's like not the car they were like dying to release, but just do note that this is not a standard feature and it's not even available on the lower trim levels, only on the top 2. Now, when it comes to the third row of the vehicle, it looks semi-spacious with the exception of the middle seat. So like a lot of midsize SUVs, the middle seat is such an afterthought and so falsely advertised to families. It literally cannot be more than 6 inches. I mean, you can look at it. Not only is it 6 inches, it's 6 inches and it looks like you have to sit on top of plastic. So to me, I would have just rather have them removed the middle seat and made 2 comfortable third row seats instead. This is not an 8-passenger car. It should not be advertised as an 8-passenger car. I think it's borderline irresponsible, because I would love Honda to let me know in the comments below what fits in 6 inches. Not a car seat, not a human. So what, an American Girl doll? Okay, so just 2 more like things I don't love about the interior upgrades. I was disappointed to see that they don't have ceiling vents in this car. Now, they didn't in the previous generation, so I'm not necessarily surprised, but they would have had major brownie points if they would have given the addition of ceiling vents. I love ceiling vents for children in car seats. I mean, when you just put vents on the back of the center console, these kids in car seats, especially rear-facing car seats, are not getting that ventilation, and in hot climates, that can be super uncomfortable for the children. So I feel like if you're gonna be the ultimate family car, put the vents on the ceiling. So many other vehicles do it. No one tried to tell me it's because of the panoramic sunroof, because I could list off a ton of vehicles that have both a pano roof and ceiling vents. So I would have liked that upgrade. Additionally, just another kind of aesthetic thing that I'm not a big fan of is the screen. The screen at like the upgraded one is only 9 inches, which compared to some other vehicles in its class is kind of small. It's also not built in. It feels random to me. It feels like an afterthought. It doesn't feel nice and integrated. I think we see all of these stunning infotainment systems now with curved screens or screens that are integrated into the dash better, that are bigger. So for this to be just kind of like plopped on top of it, I was expecting a little more. Now, something that was kind of fun to see in the press kit, they said there's 14 large volume cup holders throughout the cabin, including 8 of those that will fit a 32-ounce water bottle. So haven't tried it for myself, but thank you, Honda, for that nice information. Okay, so let's talk about some of the safety features that are on the new Honda Pilot. The Pilot features an updated Honda Sensing, which is their suite of driver's assistance technology. It has a new camera, it has a wider 90-degree angle field view, and a wide angle radar with a 120-degree field view. Also, its blind spot information is now expanded to 82 feet, which is kind of exciting. It has traffic jam assist, traffic sign recognition, which are both standard, adaptive cruise control, low speed follow, lane keep assist, and they've all been updated to feature a more natural response. So a ton of great safety features, plus they also have standard rear seatbelt reminder and rear seat reminder. So I really like that feature on family cars because it reduces the risk of children or pets being left in the car. Basically, if you open up that back door before you get in the car and you turn off the vehicle, it will give you a rear seat reminder. Love that feature. Happy to see it on the car. Okay, now let's dive into the car seat setup. So they don't put this in the press release, so I'm literally scouring every YouTube video, pausing the video, trying to get these angles to figure out what the car seat setup is. And this is where I've landed. So, and again, I haven't been able to see the EXL, which is the bench without the removable middle seat. So I'm doing the one that has the removable middle seat. 2D, so second row behind the driver, lower anchors and tether anchors. 2C is second row, center seat. Has lower anchors that I can see. I'm unsure if it has a tether anchor. I would imagine it does, but I can't verify that. And then 2P, second row, passenger side, lower anchor, tether anchor. So Loving that. Third row, they do tether anchors across all 3 seats, and they do lower anchors on 3P, so third row passenger seat. So in the third row, you have 1 set of lower anchors, 3 tether anchors. However, remember that middle seat tether anchor is absolutely positively worthless. Because why? The middle seat's 6 inches. So excited to see tether anchors on the outboard seats. That's better than what we see in the Kia Telluride or the Hyundai Palisade, because they don't even put one on the additional outboard seat. And I'm excited to see that this removable middle seat has lower anchors. That's also exciting. The previous Honda Pilot was pretty good at 3 across. I would imagine with this one having a similar setup and being bigger, it should also be a good 3 across candidate. So overall, I'm excited about the car seat setup. Would have liked to have seen also an addition of a car seat friendly tilt, because there's no way to access the third row with a car seat installed. So that's something. But overall, I can't complain. So anyway, that's gonna wrap up my first initial impressions of the Honda Pilot. Overall, I'm excited that it's bigger. I'm excited about the styling. I'm super excited about the removable middle seat, and I just cannot wait to get my hands on one, play with the setup, drive it, get into the technology. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and make sure you check out all of my other car tours. I've reviewed almost every mom car out there.